Is it hard for you to find employees? A very down-to-earth video with 7 practical measures that you can implement right away. Hi, my name is Christian Wurzelball. I support the textile service industry with management training Neuen Textile Service 4.0 and practical hints that you can implement right away. The issue with employees is very big in the whole industry. I've just had a talk with someone in the States and then another talk with someone in Asia, and both are basically complaining about the same issues. And so if you have an issue to finding the right employees, if you have an issue also with the attractivity of the industry at large, then you're not alone, and I want to make a contribution to this topic. So stay tuned and subscribe to the channel because there will be more videos about this topic in the future. So first you need to build a strong team, because this is actually the solution of the problem, because when you have a strong team, then you have less turnover. When you have less turnover, of course, you need less people to begin with, and you get also a better image on the labor market. So the image is very, very important, because just imagine an employee of yours sits at the coffee table with a friend, and he or she talks about the company, and he really boasts about the company, is excited, and he likes to go there every Monday, for instance, next Monday, and he is confident that the company has a future and so on. Then his or her friend will maybe ask whether there's an opening in this company. And on the other side, if you have employees who just complain and who are not satisfied, who have to go to work because otherwise they cannot pay the bills, but they really do not like the job, and they tell this to their friends, then most probably they will look for another company and not apply for your company. So this is basically everything. And the point is that such private conversations, whether they are in person or on social media, are really, really credible. So the credibility is much higher than with every message that you send out with something like employer marketing. But of course, if you have a good team, then you can multiply the effect when you have a good marketing, and this makes your company more attractive. But I would not invest much in employer branding to start with, but I would focus really on building up your team and to have satisfied employees. So how you do it? And I want now to take the perspective of an employee, and I want to show out of my experience what are the important things for an employee. And the most important thing is actually to have a why, because when they know why they go to work, then they can sustain many problems, and so they should say my work is meaningful. And of course, the first meaning of labor is that you earn money. I earn money, I'm secure on the one hand that the terms of the employment are fair, that the payment is good. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be fair. And that you also consider, for instance, something like transportation or accommodation. So for instance, if your employees arrive with public transportation, then you need to consider the schedules of the bus or of the trains. And on the other hand, if they take the car, then you need to have parking lots and so on. So these are the very basic things. And of course, workplace security. To have a secure workplace is mandatory, not just by law, but also for the employees themselves, because they want to stay healthy at the end of the day. And the second thing is that the company has a future. And I think this is really, really important, because people are not just concerned about their paycheck next week, but also the paycheck next year. So the point is you need to provide a perspective that they are in the right company. And if you have both, you pay well, you have nice terms, and you have you give them a security for the future, this is already quite some achievement. And then, of course, everybody's a human being. And as a human being, in the beginning of every day and of every conversation, you check how is the relationship that you have. Are you accepted? So if you are accepted, then you can perform. And if you are not accepted, then you are stressed. And depends, of course, on which personality you are. But many people are then really stressed out, and they cannot make a real performance, and even then they intend to leave. So first, I'm treated like a human, and this is important. So that you treat your employees with the same politeness as you would treat a customer. And and I mean really each and every employee. And so this is something that is important, because you want to have a partnership. Of course, you are actually the customer of their labor, so they report to you, but you want to be polite, and you want to nourish this relationship. So you're also depending, of course, on them. So treat them like a human, and this is a huge step. And then I do not have major conflicts. Of course, you have always conflicts, and the world is not a perfect place. We are not in paradise. But if you are bullied, and if you do not like to come to work because you have conflicts with your peers, with your supervisor and so on, then you most probably switch places. And I'm informed. So I think information is something that shows you that you are appreciated as a human being, and not just an extension of the machine. So we do not have humans just because we do not have an automatic feeder, for instance, of an ironer, but that we treat them as humans, and that we also inform them. So this is really important, and that we do it in their language, and that they can understand it. And there is no favoritism. So favoritism, especially, for instance, if you're a family company, or if you're friends, if you are more close to some colleagues than others, this is a real danger, because when people perceive that somebody is favored over the other, then this is a terrible poison in the company for the culture. So the fourth why is I'm proud of our products and services that we provide. So it's important that we have pride in our work, that we end our day, that we have accomplished something, and that we know that the customer is satisfied, that we know that we have made a good product and a good work this day. And so this provides much meaning. And very often we do not inform our employees about the customer satisfaction. Many employees do not know the customers at all. And they do not know how the customers appreciate the products and so on. So I think it's important that they know how the products are used, and that they know about the use case at the customer. So, for instance, at Wurzelball, we started, for instance, to tour our employees to the customers. So we invited, so we had the sales reps coming and taking 5 or 10 employees and visit, for instance, a hotel or a nursing home or a hospital. Of course, this is quite some effort, but when you do it once, then this is a lasting experience for an employee, and it makes a huge difference in motivation and also in understanding of the customer and the quality that they produce. So this is a big one. And then the fifth one is that I can contribute. So on the one hand, and this is maybe related to the previous one, that I produce value and not waste. So if I need to wait, for instance, for a decision of my superior for the whole day or for a week or 1 month in order to proceed with my project or with my task, then this is something that is waste on the one hand, but it's also very demotivating. And or for instance, if you have a machine and the machine has some issues and doesn't produce the right quality, and you need to do rework, this is something that really bothers people. So value is doing something valuable is motivating, doing something wasteful is the other way around. And my problems are heard and solved. Means that if I have an issue, for instance, and the machine is not working, as I mentioned before, that this issue will be fixed in the future. And so this is a big one. And I can improve a process, of course. If you empower people to make improvements, then they really flourish. And I had some very nice experiences that you would not expect. Can make improvements to processes, and it's incredible. So just consider that your employees are at home organizing a household, organizing vacations, organizing some events and so on. They have hobbies, they have many things that they do. And then they come and work and the whole day they just make a boring movement, and then they return home and do incredible things. And so there is much potential in many employees that you will not know unless you give them the opportunity. And there's much potential that they improve workplaces and processes. And then I can develop myself. And of course, you cannot make a development path for every one of your employees. And maybe many people do not even want it. They want just to have a secure workplace and get their paycheck, which is okay. But you have a part of your workforce that wants also to become better, to achieve more, and therefore it's important that you give them, on the one hand, a perspective, and that they are also challenged. And this is then very meaningful. So you can make a screenshot of this chart. I think all these points are very important. And even if you have an issue, for instance, with one of these, this could be a reason that people leave. For instance, if you have conflicts, people leave. If you do not, if you show favoritism, people leave. If you do not treat them like humans, people leave. Yeah. So if the terms are not fair, people leave. And if they are not secure about the company, about the future, people leave. So I think you need all these points, and you have to check whether you have an issue there. Yeah, so some hints, as I have promised. So first one, start with yourself. The company, the plant, is basically a mirror of yourself as a leader. So when you're a leader, you should first of all change yourself and not your team. And when you start, for instance, to reflect on how you are perceived, then and you start to become and you realize that some of your jokes are not as well received as you think they are, then when you change, it makes a huge difference. When you change, that you try to name people by their name, for instance, it makes a huge difference. And so when you listen on how you are perceived, when you listen about the problems people have, and you start to change your area of responsibility, it makes a huge difference. So start with yourself. Then disturbances have priority. So if there is a conflict, if somebody has a question, if somebody has something that is very important, you need to give your employee the same priority, a similar priority as your customers. So when some disturbance comes up, resolve it the same day or at least the day after. Do not wait 1 or 2 or 3 weeks to resolve an issue. Take it as a priority, fix it. So I think this is very important, even when it comes to terminating an employee. So if you see that someone that doesn't fit to the team, do not wait with this decision for weeks or months. Take it and do it fast. Yeah. So disturbances have priority, and not doing postponing decisions makes matters only worse. And then set up routines, for instance, to get in touch with your whole team, so with the whole plant, with the whole company. One routine could be to have, for instance, events like we had, for instance, in Christmas. And I made it for myself a routine that I would not speak the whole time with my intimate or direct reports with the people I know very well, but I took probably 2/3 of the time, and I was sitting on each table for about 10 minutes, and I was asking them how they are doing and so on, and they would come up with questions and would ask me something, and I would write down also some requests. So try to get in touch. This was one way. Another way was, for instance, we had at least a few years, we had trips that we organized for the plant. So I would then go from row to row in the coach and start to speak with people, and also be accessible during the day and speak with different people during the whole day. And this is really precious. You come to know many people, and you show them that you are a human, and that they can approach you, and it makes a big difference. So set up some routines, at least on an annual basis, where you can get in contact with your employees without any barriers. Yeah. And then also set up routines for your direct reports. Of course, all your employees are important, but your direct reports, your best people, are most important. So make a difference there. And for instance, for these people, I was going out for a dinner every year, for instance, with each one of them separately. This is not a big deal, but it makes all the difference in the relationship with your best people. And therefore set up routines there, and just stick to it. Try to organize it. If you leave it by chance, then chances are that you will have not spoken to your direct reports for 1 or 2 or 3 years. And if you are very busy, then you could end up not speaking to your employees in the plant for a few years. So I think this is really important. And then inform your direct reports weekly for 30 minutes, something like this. Not too long, it doesn't have to be 1 or 2 hours, but probably 5 to 10 minutes could be too short. So tell them what is going on regarding customers, regarding new potentials, regarding some issues, the plans that you have ahead, and so on, and what is coming up next week, what were the achievements of last week. So inform your direct reports, and right now with Zoom and so on, it becomes even more easier. And then I would inform also the whole team at least once a month. And it doesn't have to be very long, just 5 to 10 minutes. Just tell them what is going on. And this makes a huge difference. As mentioned before, people want to have security, and they are secure if they are informed. So when they see and they are informed, for instance, as it was now with COVID-19, that there are some issues, but that you're working on it, and that they will receive the paycheck and so on, and that the company has a future, and that the customers will come back and so on, then they know that the management is working on these things, and they get trust. And I think that's really important. And of course, celebrate success. Yeah. So when you get a new customer, when you have a success, for instance, that an investment has been implemented well, or that somebody has done something extraordinary, mention it. So this is important. And be approachable, as already mentioned before. I had, for instance, the rule for my assistants that my direct reports, they could approach me directly after each meeting. So if somebody had a question and he would call me, he would send me an email, he would get the answer even during the day. And we had the same rule for the Workers' Council. In many plants we had a Workers' Council. So even the Workers' Council got a response at least on the next day. And even if there was something with an employee that wanted to approach me, I was approachable, and I made sure that they could leave me a message, and I tried to answer it as soon as possible. Of course, I would not overrule a plant manager or a supervisor, so I would refer the employee to his superior in most cases. But if it was something really serious, then they could approach me. And always improve. These are just a few practical steps, and as mentioned before, you can do always better. And even if you're good, you can improve. And first of all, improve your management skills. The point is, the better you are in management, the better you can make the right strategy and goals, the better you organize, the better you make decisions, the better you develop people and so on. The better your management skills are, the less issues you have with your staff. So many problems, as mentioned before, are the reason of the managing director and of the plant manager and so on, with their management skills and with their attitude. So sorry, but it starts with you. And but this is also a very good news. If you improve yourself, then you can make a change big time. Of course, whether this has an impact on the labor market within a few weeks is another thing, but if you change yourself, you can change a whole team and a whole plant within at least a year, maybe within half a year. And therefore, this is the biggest lever that you have. Yeah, if you liked the video, then again give it a thumbs up. And if you're an entrepreneur and if you want to discuss an issue with myself, then there's a link down in the video description to book a strategy session, and we can take it from there and see whether we are fit and whether I can help you. And you can also subscribe to a newsletter. I'm sending out an email once a week to my email list, and it's valuable information, and then you get an update. So I wish you all the best. See you, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.